good, y'all? It's your boy Don Bucks, the host of Rapping Dough. And today, I got an interesting topic I wanted to touch on. I was pretty much birthed out of frustration. But, we got a lot of crazy stuff going on right now with the coronavirus and a lot of people losing their jobs or getting laid off and whatnot. My question I wanted to propose was, are you still a slave? Because that question might ruffle some feathers, but it's a real question to me because it was birthed out of frustration. Dealing with friends and whatnot over the past. Like, if anybody that know me, I've been following, I've been self-employed for about 20 plus years. Also, as well as an investor for over 10 years. So I pretty much never had a boss. But if you wanna count, when I was a teenager and my dad was my boss, you can count that. But as far as like working for a corporation and being able to get fired, I never experienced that. So, dealing with my friends, always, friends that had jobs and whatnot, I was always like, propose different things like, yo, let's go to the mall tomorrow afternoon. It's like, oh man, I gotta work. So my question is, it's kind of like slave talk. It's like when you have to do something. Like, let me ask you. Now you can ask yourself this question: do you have to go to work? Like, because if you do, you're pretty much a slave. Alright, because I always found it interesting because I look at things from a different perspective, and that's what this channel is for. Because I talk about business and finance from a black perspective, or my perspective. So I think different. Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur and self-employed for 20 plus years. So my thought process as far as being your own boss and making your own decisions was always different than my friends that had jobs. So I always thought about different things like, damn, do you gotta ask to go to the bathroom, like at your job? Like, do you have to get permission? Do you have to get permission to eat lunch? Is it your choice what time you wake up in the morning? Different questions like that, and you may not have looked at it from that perspective because you've been in it so long, but in essence, that's kind of like what the slaves had to go through. You know what I'm saying? So if you see, this channel is for people that like to think outside of the box, that like to think independently. So if that's not you, this might not be the channel for you. This might not be the talk that you might want to tune into, because I'm going to challenge some of those beliefs and some of those actions that you've been participating in for so long. So, do you have to ask or get permission when you want to eat or when you want to go to lunch? Do you kind of have to get permission to go to the bathroom? It's like, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, at what point do you say, you know what, I'm a grown ass man, I'm a grown ass woman, like, I need to be able to do what the fuck I want to do when I want to do it. Like, some people are okay with getting permission from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Me and the different people that I like to rub shoulders with, we not signing up for that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a good feeling when you look at it. It shouldn't feel good to have to ask or get permission to do these things. Like, when you get paid, because I get paid every day because I'm working for myself. So I deal in cash business. So like, I've been getting paid every day since I can remember. Like, I didn't have to wait for a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So ask yourself that question. It's like, do you depend on somebody else to write your checks, or is your finances dependent upon what you do? Because in my line of work, or in any line of entrepreneurship, your income is based off of the work that you do. Excuse me. So if you want a raise, you basically go get yourself a raise. You don't have to wait for somebody to say, "Oh, you did a good job this year, and we're going to give you a 2% raise," which doesn't outdo inflation, because inflation is about 3 or 4%. So you're kind of behind the 8 ball in that regards. You never outdo inflation. You're never going to make enough money to outdo what things cost. That's another thing to take into consideration. But if you have to say, I have no choice in the matter, because this is one of the things that it's like kind of like a Kanye conversation. Like, no way, shape, or form am I saying, any of the shit Kanye was saying. But in essence, we do have a choice. Like, you have a choice whether to create your own wealth, or you have a choice to work for somebody else forever. So in essence, we do have a choice whether to be a slave or not, because it's a tough decision, but it's a decision nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? So because that'd be one of the things that people say, like, "Oh man, I have to go to work." Well, if you have to go to work, you're kind of in essence a slave, because you don't have any choice in the matter. Whereas though, where you saying you don't have a choice, and that's kind of like the position that the slaves was put in. It's like, all right, I can either run towards freedom, possibly get killed or whatever, or I could stay here and work for this my owner, my master, until I die. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough decision, but it's a decision nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? So when you say, "Yeah, well, I ain't got no choice, man, I gotta go to work," you do have a choice. It's a tough choice, but you have a choice at the end of the day. My thing is, you either figure it out, or you will have to keep asking to go to the bathroom. You will have to keep asking when you can go on vacation. All that shit I lined up in the beginning. You're gonna have to ask someone else, or get permission, or is it okay? You have to act a certain way, and you can't really be yourself. So, in essence, do you see yourself as a slave? Because in essence, that's what you are. If you have to get permission from somebody else to do the things that you want to do. So, the next topic I wanted to touch on is piggybacking off of that. Are you a slave? Because I was seeing posts on social by different people that were saying that I'm essential personnel, and I can't stay home. And I kind of feel for those people, like healthcare workers and the delivery guys and the firemen, the policemen. It's like, here it is, we saying we got this pandemic and they want everybody to stay in the house. These people on the front line of all this shit, so they pretty much putting their life at jeopardy to go to work, because they have to go to work. So my thing is, are they paying them anymore? That may be the case. Like, some places may be paying double time or time and a half, but I doubt it. I haven't heard anything like that. But think about that. That's another one of those I have to go to work scenarios. Like, how long do you want to? Being a healthcare worker, or being a policeman or fireman, those are noble jobs. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those people do it because they like helping people, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, I believe you can help people. Somebody got to do the job, right? Somebody have to do the job, but I believe there's other ways that a person can help people without having to put their life on the line like that. Like literally putting their life on the line like that. Like I seen a couple healthcare workers. They got masks on. They got the eye protection, and special robes or gowns they have to wear. Like that shit is crazy to have to go step into that, and then you got to go home at the end of the day to possibly pass it to your family. Like let's say you come in contact with it, because you hear all the theories that it stays on your clothes for X amount of time, or it stays in your hair, or it's a whole lot of conspiracy theories running around right now. But shit is wild when you have to do that shit. Like, so I'm challenging that. Like, would you rather help somebody in another manner and also have have your power, get your power back, get your time back, because you're spending time away from your family, your loved ones, you know what I'm saying, putting your life on the line and shit like that. So I challenge a person. I mean, we can have a productive conversation about that. Like, could there be a possible different way to help people? That's what I'm saying. If you're one of those noble positions, that essential personnel, that do their job because they love to do it, or whatever, because they love to help people. But my thing is, are you really getting paid what you're worth on your job? I beg to differ, because the reason why they're paying you what they paying you is because, let's say you get paid $20 an hour. Well, they paying you $20 an hour probably because they're making $40 an hour off of your labor. So they basically paying you what your job is worth. You know what I'm saying? You may think you're getting paid what you're worth, but you're not getting paid what you're worth. You're getting paid what your job is, what they say your job is worth. So that's why I'm always talking about, getting your time back and building wealth for yourself and your family. And creating your own life, creating your own wealth in order to be able to, make decisions on your own. Like even something as small and mundane as when you have to wake up in the morning. Like, I got a taste of it when I went to college, because I went to college for applied science and radiology. So, I got a taste of the corporate arena in school, because during that tenure I had to be to class at a certain time. I had to be at the hospital at a certain time. So, that's basically giving you a taste of what you would be having to do if you was to have a job. So I attempted the corporate arena, and I kind of didn't. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a learning experience, but having to, getting reprimanded or something for being late, or it just felt unnatural. Being that I've been my own boss for so long, so it felt unnatural, and definitely out of my comfort zone. I mean, being out of your comfort zone can be a positive, and it can also be a negative in that regard. But my thing is, they will never pay you what you're worth when you're working for somebody else. So back to the original point, are you a slave? Because do you believe slaves got paid what they worth? I don't think slaves got paid. They got scraps of the food, and barely any wearable clothing. So and they didn't have a choice in the matter when they got up or what they ate. And in essence, that's what happens. Like when somebody pays you what they want to pay you, you don't really have you have a choice to a degree what you want to eat. But like I just challenged that thought process. Like, I mean, we can have a productive conversation about it, but this was born, this idea, are you a slave? That question of mine was born out of my frustration, like I said, from my friends um, that worked in corporate arenas. It's like, yo, like, let's go to the mall tomorrow afternoon, or let's take a trip this Wednesday, or something like that. And they're like, oh man, I gotta work. So, this is a different perspective, a different angle, a different take on, what you've probably been doing for a minute now. It's like, I want you to think about that, because, I propose, I strongly suggest, being that now that we see how your job can be easily taken away from you, like, you gotta stay home unless you're essential personnel, like those people. So you gotta stay home. So your job now is no longer. You get furloughed. Everybody getting laid off. The unemployment rate's through the roof. And that puts a different perspective on your job. I hope it does, because now you see a lot of people. All the waitresses, all the hairstylists, all the barbers. They don't have jobs right now, being that they had to close. So that's why I always propose that you get another stream of income, like more than one income, preferably online, some type of online business, something that's not basically dictated by somebody else, that you can control. You know what I'm saying? Something of your own. That if you want a raise, you can go get a raise. Like me in the stock market. Like, if I want to get more dividends, I'll buy more shares. So that's why I'm always talking about entrepreneurship, investing, real estate, all those things. Different cultures, wealthy cultures, Jews, for example, Asians. Every other culture besides black people they talk about these things more so than black people. They talk about these different things to their kids because they know that's the way out. They know that's the way to get ahead. They sit around their dinner tables, and these are the conversations that they have. Like, look, you want to invest, you want to acquire real estate assets, you want to build a business, foundations, things of that nature. Like, they talk about this stuff with their kids, and that's why it's more so them that be in these positions than us. So I super propose that we start doing that, even now, even more so now, being that we have this time at home to think, to talk, to create. Like, we have this time now, so I think we should. This should be a better. There's no better time than now to start thinking along those lines. You feel me? So, I know this message gonna have you thinking on another level. Some people gonna be like, "Oh man, who he think he is? Like, calling me a slave?" No, I'm asking you: are you still a slave based off of those? Based off of that criteria that I laid out in the beginning. Do you have to ask for permission to go on vacation? Do you have to ask for permission to take a break? Do you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom? Like, how old are we here now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how old are we here? Because I remember, that was when I was a kid. I had to raise my hand or make sure it was okay to do this, that, and the third. Like, yeah. But at some point, when do we feel as though that's not, what an adult is supposed to be doing? Like, I think we should be able to have power to do what the hell we want to do when we want to do it. So, if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. If you got any value out of this, you can also share this video for somebody who might want to hear this different perspective. But also, like I said, I propose that we begin to invest in ourselves. We begin to think about a different business, or any way, real estate, any way that we can start taking control of our life, get our time back. Because, at these jobs that we have to go to, like, you're spending mad time away from your kids. Like, now that we don't have to go to work because they say we have to stay home, now you have more of an opportunity to talk to your kids, to think about different things. So now we have the time. Now you actually get a chance to see the time that you've been missing with your kids, because now you have that time because you're home. You feel me? So some people enjoying their time at home, some people ain't. But this is the time that you've been missing from your kids. But this can be an everyday thing and have your income if you begin to invest in yourself, invest your money, start buying these assets, whether it's stocks, real estate, or business. So this is the time now to do it. If you need help doing that, I have a link in the description. You can get insight on how to pick your stocks, because that's one of the main questions that I always be getting when I talk about investing. People ask, yo, Don, how do you know which stocks to pick? Da 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 da. I got a resource for you now. So click the link in the description. It's the Beat the Market Analyzer. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's rapping_dough, spelled just like that, with an underscore. And if you need a brokerage investment account, I got the plug on them too. That link is in the bio as well. So feel free to check those out if that's one of the things that you're trying to do, which I highly suggest you do. You invest in some way, shape, or form. But I know one of the easiest ways to start creating wealth is to invest in the stock market. I know that to be a fact. But with that being said, I'm gonna bounce on out of here. But are you still a slave? Think about that. Think about that. Leave comments below, and maybe we can have a productive conversation. So until next time, I'll see y'all soon. It's your boy Don Bucks, and it's Rapping Dough. Peace.